In 2015, we left the rat race and went to the farm. We bought a 100-year-old farmhouse and 9 acres. After 3 years of extensive renovations, we can finally call ourselves College Hill Farm.
Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Today, we're talking about what you do when you can't get into the garden. Last night, and for the last 2 days, we've had solid rain, which is good for your garden. But it's not so good for working in the garden. For example, if you go out in the garden with all this mud, you're going to get your tractor stuck, or you're going to come out and compact your soil. Compacted soil is not good for the plants at all. So you're better off to just stay out of the garden. So you got to find something else to do. Well, today I'm going to do several things. First, I'm going to go get my tomato cages and put them by the garden where they need to be in order to get ready to plant. Second, I'm going to build a new set of tomato cages to go for my Romas. But I'll also show you the way to build ones to go with those big indeterminates like my Cherokee purples. So that's what we're doing today. Here we are at my tobacco barn. I don't raise tobacco anymore, but it's an old dilapidated tobacco barn that was on my homestead when I bought it. It's eventually going to have to come down. But this is where my tomato cages reside in the off season. Now, the tomatoes I have in the field right now are all big indeterminates. I haven't planted my Romas yet. I get those and plant those after they come in the bed. You saw the video on how to bed plants for free. Well, those will be in probably June the 1st, June the 2nd, something like that. They'll be ready to go in the garden. But they're not there yet, so I don't have to worry about staking Roma tomatoes. So on this off day when I can't get in the garden, it's too wet to cultivate, it's too wet to hoe, it's too wet to do anything. And we've got a storm coming from the west, so I've got some time to do some things, but we've got a good sized storm on its way. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some other things. And one of the things that I have to do is get these tomato cages out of the weeds, because the weeds have grown up through them and stuff, and then get them down to the kitchen garden and to my other garden to get ready for the tomatoes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I don't need this cage. It's for smaller tomatoes than what I've got. So I'm going to go ahead and get these and put them in. I put the forks on my tractor. That's another video, homemade tractor forks. So okay, I've got about all of the mesh cages that I can get on my tractor. So I can haul about 6 of these great old big tomato cages at a time. So I'm going to take these down to the kitchen garden. I need about 18 or 20 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and take 6 and come back and get 6 more and 6 again. Okay, here we are at the kitchen garden. Of course, you can see my tomatoes. It's getting time to get them stuck. They're starting to lean over. There are 21 plants here in the kitchen garden, so I'm going to need 21 of those big indeterminate cages. So I'll go ahead and drop those off and go back and get more. Well, get off there. Okay, that's the last of our mesh wire cages, concrete mesh cages that we're going to put out. Right here, what you see at the end of the garden row here, this is the garden where I plant the broccoli, the cauliflower, the cabbage, the corn, and the onions. What's going to happen in this garden, of course, I'm going to pull these onions out, but the reason I brought planted 4 tomatoes here, there won't be any other tomatoes planted in this spot. And this spot is at least 400 feet away from any other tomato that I'll plant on a property, and that will help me assure that these tomatoes I'll be able to save seeds off of them. Now I'll pick one of them as the year goes on and show you what I do with it to make sure that my seeds are good. All it takes is 1 year of bad seed and it'll mess up 2 or 3 years down the road. So we want to make sure that we always take care of our seed supply. So this is the garden. You can see how it's doing. Of course, it's too wet to get in there and do anything. I really need to get the weeds out of that corn, but it's just not going to happen today. So I'll see you in the next video and show you how to make these big old concrete mesh wire cages. I'd like to thank you for visiting with us at College Hill Farm today. I hope you found our videos entertaining and or informative. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment on both Facebook and YouTube. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.